Right now on Morning News Now, a whiplash on Wall Street. This morning, investors bracing for another rocky day of trading amid renewed fears of a recession. America's economy down 0.3% in the first 3 months of this year, with President Trump in charge for all but 20 days of it. Now the president pushing back against claims that tariffs are to blame.
I'm not taking a credit or discredit for the stock market. I'm just saying that we inherited a mess. We came in on January 20th. So this is Biden.
We have team coverage with the president's message to business leaders, and we'll tell you what it means for you. Also this morning, done deal. The U.S. and Ukraine signing an agreement on mineral and energy reserves after months of high-profile negotiations marked by conflict. We'll break down the deal and what it could mean for the war between Russia and Ukraine. Happening now, a series of springtime storms battering much of the country this morning, with tens of millions of people under a severe weather threat today. We are tracking the conditions and we'll look ahead to your weekend. Plus, early to bed, early to rise. Turns out there's some truth to that age-old advice for becoming healthy, wealthy, and wise. Why more people, from C-suite executives to TikTok influencers, are setting their alarms for 4 a.m. I'm sure many of you at home have seen these videos of morning routines with 400 steps.
We're trendsetters.
Well, yeah, right.
Welcome to the club.
We're not mouth taping and all this crazy weird stuff.
No banana facials here. Good to have you with us this morning. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for starting your Thursday with us. We're going to begin this morning at the White House, where President Trump is attempting to downplay concerns over the economy in the wake of yesterday's weakening gross domestic product number.
The U.S. economy shrank by 0.3% in the first quarter of 2025. That's the first quarter of negative growth we've seen since 2022. Now, experts say it was largely driven by an unexpected surge in imports as consumers and businesses raced to get ahead of the president's tariffs. But Mr. Trump is trying to pin the blame on his predecessor, former President Joe Biden. Speaking to business leaders yesterday, the president said more time was needed to turn things around.
In the first quarter GDP numbers just out today, core GDP, now we're removing distortions from imports, inventories, and government spending, was up plus 3%. But this is Biden's economy because we took over on January 20th. And I think you have to get us a little bit of time to get moving. But this is the Biden economy.
We're joined now by NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell and Investopedia's editor-in-chief Caleb Silver. Good morning to both of you. Kelly, let's start with you here. Yesterday, we saw the president double down on his trade tariffs, distancing himself from both the fall in the GDP, the stock market volatility we've seen for several weeks now. Tell us a little more about what he said and just how the White House is trying to explain all this.
Well, those examples you gave, Joe, about the GDP numbers, which were kind of a jolt to the economic system, as well as the other consequences of the tariffs, are exactly what the president is trying to distance himself from, even though that is his own policy, one that he campaigned on, and one that he has put in place with a great deal of uncertainty at times and maybe more aggressive than what the public might have expected. He certainly talked about tariffs. He's done it in a very big way. The president has also found times where he is more than willing to take credit for some of the benefits in the economy, whether it's the stock market or different jobs reports or things like that. We've seen that over time. But at the moment, he wants a little more space, and he certainly wants to put some of the blame on his predecessor, Joe Biden, even though he has been out of office now for more than 100 days. The president talked about this and addressed it at a cabinet meeting where he was pressed to try to explain the consequences of his policies and how it's impacting the real world.
I don't view the stock market as the end all. It's an indicator. But what the stock market really tells you, and when you look at the stock market in this case, is it says how bad a situation we inherited. This was a quarter that we looked at today, and we took all of us together. We came in on January 20th. So this is Biden, and you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden.
So forecasting that not only the moment we're in now, but for another 3 months, it would be Joe Biden's responsibility. That will be something that voters and citizens will have to sort of assess if they believe that or not. Polling has already shown that there's some pushback from the public about the president's handling of the economy.
Caleb, let's bring you in here and just give us a fact check, for starters, on President Trump's claim that this was due to the previous administration. Tell us if there's any truth to that and then what factors are at play.
Well, numbers don't lie, and we ended last year, the fourth quarter, with growth of 2.4%, and now we're negative 0.3%. So you just got to look at the numbers. When you look at GDP, we're talking about the total monetary value of all the finished goods and services produced inside of a country, plus government investment, plus imports, which you mentioned. Companies were importing a lot ahead of tariffs. So that's where you have a lot of that imbalance. But also we had a slowdown in spending by both businesses and consumers because they feared higher prices or they saw them at the store. I can't see how you blame that on the former president, but I'm sure he's somewhere feeling terrible about this. The fact is, numbers fell in this quarter because of the tariffs and the uncertainty.
And Kelly, yesterday we did see a bipartisan effort to try and block Trump's tariffs. It failed in the Senate. Just walk us through what happened there.
Well, what's important to note is typically the use of tariffs is a power that belongs to Congress, and they were trying to claw that back. The president is able to do his sort of executive tariffs because he declared a national emergency on this, and members of Congress, including a few Republicans in the Senate, wanted to try to establish through a resolution that this is the purview of Congress. They say it was important to have the discussion, to bring up the issue, to remind Americans that the power to levy tariffs does belong to Congress. We had a couple of notables who we often see willing to break with the president. That would be Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Rand Paul of Kentucky. And they argue that this is important because this is a co-equal branch of government that should be able to have this sort of an impact on the economy about when and when not to impose tariffs. The president's national emergency is still in effect, and the Congress, in terms of the Senate, working on this, wanted to pull that back. But it appears now that there's a lot of support for the president having this authority, and so they've sort of blocked the ability to claw it back. But it was notable, especially with a few Republicans getting on board, and as a reminder that typically it's a power of Congress and not the president.
Caleb, how could this decline in the economy impact all of us, just everyday Americans, our wallets?
Yeah, right now, this is a scorecard in the headline numbers, the first estimate of GDP. But if we get another quarter of this, or you feel like the economy's slowing, or you hear over and over from companies that businesses and consumers are spending less, that just kind of triggers the psychological recession. So we spend less, right? We keep our hands in our pockets. Businesses spend less. They don't expand. They don't hire. They don't give raises. That's how you could feel it over time. But a couple things to keep in mind. Tomorrow, very big jobs report for the month of April. We'll see if the unemployment rate rises. It's 4.2% right now, still pretty low. We also have the Fed meeting in 6 days, 7 hours and 50 minutes next week. They could, if they see a rise in unemployment, slowing economy, lower interest rates, that could be significant.
All right,
Sweet.
Caleb and Kelly, appreciate it. Thank you both.
Well, despite President Trump's insistence that the current economic impact of tariffs is a, quote, transition period, many supply chain experts say the worst is yet to come. A new report shows that exports from China have fallen to their lowest level in years due to the president's trade war. Well, one analysis says that as a result, U.S. consumers could spend up to $4,000 more per year for the same products. NBC's Steve Patterson explains.
The front line of President Trump's trade war with China and the 145% tariffs he put on that country is right here at our nation's busiest twin ports, Long Beach and Los Angeles.
Ports here in Southern California account for 30% of the nation's exports, 40% of the nation's imports, and about half of the business runs through China. If these tariffs stay in place, experts say it will definitely have an impact on consumers.
The worst case scenario is less choice on store shelves and online buying, prices spike, and families are really becoming tighter with their budgets.
Gene Soroka is the Port of L.A. executive director.
We only have 7 ships in port. Normally, on a Wednesday, you'd see 12 to 14 vessels.
He says incoming cargo, everything from clothing, electronics to household goods, will plummet starting next week.
What we're seeing now is that cargo coming in from Asia will be down by about 35% until we get some semblance or signals that trade deals are on the way.
Down here at the docks, to get a true sense of the scale of the operation. One of these ships can hold up to 10,000 of those containers with goods that wind up on store shelves all across the country.
The National Retail Federation says people will soon feel the effects right in the wallet.
How much will this impact the regular consumer?
Retailers can't absorb the entirety of 145% tariff. Talk about anywhere price increases between $2,000 to $4,000 or more for the year.
And businesses by the docks are feeling the squeeze now.
It makes me sad that we have people in power that have no clue on what's going on.
Yolanda Regalado runs the popular coffee shop Sirens. Dock workers are her best customers. Their union warning the trade war could lead to devastating job losses.
Our coffee just went up $1 a pound. That's a lot. Do we add $5 for a cup of coffee? I don't want to do that because the majority of people that come in here just want a decent cup of coffee, and we don't want to gouge them.
Pain being felt at the ports from a trade war nobody here wanted. Steve Patterson, NBC News, San Pedro, California.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris delivered her first major speech since President Trump took office. She slammed the agenda of her 2024 opponent and warned that America is at risk of a constitutional crisis. Harris spoke on what was the 101st day of the Trump administration. She called the president's tariffs reckless for raising costs on consumers and for paralyzing American businesses. She also warned about the consequences if America's system of checks and balances on executive power were to fail.
If Congress fails to do its part, or if the courts fail to do their part, or if both do their part, but the president defies them anyway, well, friends, that is called a constitutional crisis. And that is a crisis that will eventually impact everyone. Because it would mean that the rules that protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, that ensure each of us has a say about how our government works, will no longer matter.
Harris is expected to decide by the end of this summer whether she will run for governor of California next year. If she ran and won, that would likely take a 2028 presidential run off the table.
Well, after months of tense negotiations, the United States and Ukraine have signed a minerals deal that will help fund the eventual rebuilding of the war-torn country. The long-awaited deal will give Washington access to some of Ukraine's mineral and energy reserves and create an investment fund that both sides will jointly manage.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent signed the deal yesterday alongside Ukraine's deputy minister. He said the deal shows both sides' commitment to lasting peace and prosperity in Ukraine.
NBC News reporter Matt Bodner joins us with more on this. Matt, good morning. So can you just start by telling us what details we have at this point on this deal?
Essentially, Savannah, we have a deal that looks much more like the one first floated by Zelensky earlier this year and less like the, frankly, colonial arrangement that Trump has been pushing for since then. The main points of the deal are as follows, that it would be the creation of a 50-50 U.S.-Ukrainian joint fund to pursue brand new mineral extraction projects. All existing projects will remain under Ukrainian control. Ukraine will maintain full control over its land and its resources. And Ukraine says that for the next decade, all profits from these new projects will go directly into Ukrainian reconstruction efforts. The United States also has an option, according, again, to the Ukrainians, to contribute to the fund in the form of future military aid, particularly air defense systems. There is, however, one thing that Ukraine still has not secured. That would be their essentially main request at this point, and that is hard, clear security guarantees from the United States vis-a-vis Russia.
So, Matt, it goes without saying this demonstrates a marked shift in relations between the two countries. It was just 2 months ago Zelensky left the White House without signing a minerals deal after that contentious meeting with Mr. Trump and Vice President Vance in the Oval Office. What has changed that has led to getting this long-awaited deal signed?
Well, there have been a number of interesting developments, Joe. For starters, Trump appears to at least be warming up to the idea that Putin might be playing him. The various Russian attacks, missile attacks on civilians in recent weeks, particularly that massive attack on Kyiv a week or so ago, have prompted some of the most direct criticisms Trump has ever made of Vladimir Putin. And then, of course, there was that dramatic meeting between Trump and Zelensky in the Vatican last weekend at the Pope's funeral. Trump actually called that a moment of solace between the two of them in an interview with ABC following that meeting. And he also, again, reiterated to ABC that he thinks it's possible Putin is stringing him along. That all said, Trump has made it very clear to everyone involved that he really just wants a deal. So it could, in the end, have been that Zelensky's patience was greater.
Matt, this comes as we're learning some horrifying news about a Ukrainian journalist who died in Russian captivity. What can you tell us?
That's right, Savannah. The journalist's name was Victoria Roshina, and she was 27 years old. Back in 2023, she went into Russian-occupied territory to report on detentions and torture in Zaporizhia, and she went missing while on that assignment. Russia finally admitted in April 2024 that they had captured her, and in September of last year, they sent a letter to her family saying that she had died. There was a lot of mystery around this, but her body was returned to Ukraine in February, and examiners say that there's evidence of physical as well as electric shock torture, and even signs that organs were removed from her body, probably to try to hide this from Ukrainian war crimes prosecutors who are dealing with this now. Various Russian ministries did not reply to a request from NBC News to comment, and she was the first Ukrainian journalist known to have died in Russian captivity, not the last.
Matt, we don't hear a lot about what life is like for Ukrainians inside Russian-occupied territory in Ukraine. Does what happened to this journalist illustrate what they're living with?
It very much does, Joe. And just the other day, I spoke with a Ukrainian activist, Anna Bondarenko, who does a lot of work with volunteers behind the lines in the occupied regions. Take a listen to what she said about life behind the occupation line.
So when you're talking about the occupied territories, because the informational space, the social media, the people you walk on the streets and talk to, this is not very safe. People have to be very conscious about everything they say, they do, they even think. They're using torture, kidnapping, manipulation.
The Russian government, for its part, has routinely denied these types of allegations. We've been hearing about it since the start of the war, but we continue to hear more stories like this. Back to you guys.
All right, Matt Bodnar, thank you very much.
A Columbia University student at the center of a high-profile immigration case is free on bail this morning. A federal judge ordered the release of Palestinian student activist Mohsen Madawi from immigration custody weeks after he was detained by the Trump administration. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the details.
Palestinian Mohsen Madawi is released on bail and sounding victorious.
For anybody who's doubting justice, this is a light of hope, a hope and faith in the justice system in America.
The Columbia University student, who is a legal permanent resident in the U.S., was detained during an immigration interview in Vermont earlier this month, handcuffed and removed by federal agents. Last year, Madawi helped lead pro-Palestinian protests on campus. In a statement, the DHS says a green card is a privilege. When you advocate for violence, glorify and support terrorists that relish the killing of Americans and harass Jews, it should be revoked. Madawi denies he has ever advocated for violence.
They arrested me. What's the reason? Because I raised my voice?
The federal judge ordered Madawi released on bail while he challenges his detention. His legal team arguing that the government is trying to silence his opposition to the war in Gaza.
This is not the first time we've seen the government go after basic First Amendment rights.
In his ruling, the judge said Madawi appears not to be either a flight risk or a danger to the community, adding that continuing to detain him would likely have a chilling effect on protected speech. DHS responding, the Trump administration is committed to restoring the rule of law to our immigration system. No judge, not this one or any other, is going to stop us from doing that. On the steps of the court, after 2 weeks in detention, Madawi with a defiant message for the administration.
To President Trump and his cabinet, yes, I am not afraid of you.
And our thanks to Stephanie Gosk for that report. Madawi's fight is not over. He's still challenging the government's decision to detain him. And that case will continue to play out in federal court in Vermont. For now, he remains free while that legal battle moves forward.
The Supreme Court is weighing a potentially landmark case that critics say could weaken the separation of church and state. The justices appeared divided during yesterday's oral arguments over whether Oklahoma can use state taxpayer money to fund the country's first religious public charter school. NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett has more.
Oklahoma School Superintendent Ryan Walters is on a mission.
We're bringing the Bible back to school.
We're bringing prayer back to school, and we're going to be the first to offer religious charter schools.
If Walters is successful, St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School would be the first of its kind, the only taxpayer-funded religious charter school in the country. Walters says it's about giving parents more choices.
It's up to a parent to decide if they send their kid to that school. If a parent doesn't want to, obviously, don't send your kids to that school.
Critics say this type of plan chips away at the separation between church and state and ultimately could change how funds are used for public education nationwide. Oklahoma's Attorney General Gentner Drummond, a Republican, sued to block the school's approval, pointing to Oklahoma law, which, like dozens of other states, requires charter schools to remain secular.
Oklahomans do not want to fund religious schools. They don't want the state to get in the business of funding one religion, because if we fund one, then we have to fund all. And it's just a slippery slope.
This debate now in the hands of the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices hearing oral arguments appearing divided over the school's constitutionality. Back in Oklahoma, Erin Brewer, a mom of two teens, says the stakes of the high court's ruling go well beyond St. Isidore.
For the government to choose a particular religion, to force us as taxpayers to fund it, or to force us as students to study those tenets, that is un-American. I value my faith, and I have been really proud to impart it to my children, but I don't need the government's help.
Our thanks to Laura Jarrett for that report. Well, the Supreme Court's decision is expected by the end of June, and it could set a precedent for whether other religious organizations can run taxpayer-funded charter schools across the country.
Now to the deadly storms hitting a huge part of the country. More than 40 million people from Texas to western New York are under the threat of severe weather. Storms that are packing everything from large hail and high winds to tornadoes. In Pennsylvania, at least 4 people were killed on Wednesday. The powerful winds ripped the roofs off of buildings and toppled trees, taking out power lines. Roughly 200,000 people are without power there this morning. Officials estimate it could be a week until service is fully restored.
Meanwhile, just outside of Oklahoma City, several homes were destroyed after a lightning strike ignited this massive fire you're looking at that was spread by high winds. In nearby Seymour, Texas, blinding rainfall, pelting hail, and strong winds ripped apart this barn. For more, let's check in with NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson, who has the latest on the storm from Dallas.
Yeah, good morning. And sadly, this new round of storms has turned even more deadly. We learned late yesterday that a man in Oklahoma died after being swept away by floodwaters. Officials there say that they attempted to save him. There was a sheriff who even went into the water after him and became trapped. Thankfully, first responders were able to rescue that sheriff, but unfortunately, that driver did not survive. And so that brings the death toll from these storms this week now to 5, including the 4 that happened in Pennsylvania. And you can see some of the remnants of this storm damage here in Dallas just behind me, a lot of the overflow of that water as we saw just torrential downpours across North Texas. There were flights that were grounded and delayed at both major airports here, leaving passengers stranded. Pounding hail, and we saw a similar scene not far from here in Oklahoma where there were water rescues that took place. There were homes that began to look like islands there just from the severe flooding that they were dealing with. Now, thankfully, a lot of the flood watches there did expire this morning. We also saw severe damage in Arkansas. There was a tree that snapped onto a daycare there, and we know that there was a man in Texas who his semi-truck flipped, and he actually had to climb out via the passenger side door to escape. So certainly there was a threat on the roadways for people as well from all of this severe weather. And as you noted, up in Pennsylvania, there are still hundreds of thousands of people without power there this morning. Officials saying that it could take some time to restore, although thankfully many of those tornado watches did not come to fruition. So a bit of a silver lining here as people are continuing to recover from these severe storms.
All right, Priscilla, thank you so much. Let's now bring in NBC meteorologist Angie Lassman.
Yeah, she's tracking this storm that is moving so slowly across the country all week long. Angie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. We got more where that came from. We've got multiple systems that we're going to track well into the weekend, and unfortunately some unsettled weather and severe weather for some folks. So let's get you started with what you need to know this morning. We've got rain centered across parts of the south. This is where we've seen most of the thunderstorm activity this morning, and we've got, again, the potential for more of that to develop here as the day goes on. But no surprise, already some flood watches in effect across parts of Oklahoma. We did see some of those centered across Louisiana, Arkansas, and parts of Texas. Those have since expired, but I wouldn't be surprised with really saturated soils and more rain on the way for some of those flood alerts to come back into the picture as we get through the rest of our day. In the meantime, we've still got that same storm system moving across the country, and it means widespread storms yet again. We've got from Texas to New York basically as the bullseye for any of that stronger development to happen. As Cleveland, Charleston, Nashville, Jackson, upwards to Dallas, we're going to see that slight risk. It's the hail and the damaging winds that we're mostly concerned about, but we could see a couple of tornadoes out there as the afternoon and evening hours go on. Tomorrow, not much change. We keep the same kind of weather pattern going, and we see that greatest risk centered across parts of Texas, central Texas, essentially extending west. The hail, the damaging winds, going to be the biggest threat once again, but we could see maybe a tornado or two, although that tornado risk is going to be much lower as we head into our Friday. By Saturday, much of that starting to work its way to the east. We're talking rain from the northeast to the Great Lakes down to the southeast, and we could see some of those stronger storms develop as well. But either way, it's going to be kind of an unsettled Saturday across much of the East Coast. So rain in the picture for any of those Saturday plans. In the meantime, we're going to watch for those stronger storms and the potential for some flash flooding. Here's the flash flood risk for today. You can see, again, it's the Oklahoma, Texas area is really where we've been watching repeated rounds of heavy rain, and we've got more of that on the way as we get through, not just today, but even through Saturday. You can see upwards of 1 inch to 2 inches in some of these locations, so it won't be hard for us to see some more of that flooding. And how about this weather whiplash that we've had across parts of the Great Lakes specifically? Here's where we were on Tuesday. Record highs. We're talking 15 to even 25 degrees above normal. Detroit topping out at 86 degrees. We see a cold front work through, and now we've got the 60s in the picture. That was yesterday, so we've seen some folks plunge from the 80s all the way to the 40s, places like Erie, and then we bounce back today. So it's been a kind of couple of days where you don't know if you need the jacket or not. Today we'll see temperatures into the 70s for Buffalo, Syracuse, Erie, Pittsburgh makes it to the 80s. And we keep that warmth going across parts of the Northeast at least through tomorrow. New York City hits the low 80s, Philadelphia into the mid 80s. We see Washington, D.C. close to 90 degrees. It doesn't last in that way, but it does stay fairly mild for folks across that region here as we get into your Sunday and Monday. We'll see 70s across the board all weekend long for Memphis, Oklahoma City, and Denver.
At least it's not snowing in Buffalo when the temperature
drops. That's right.
Yeah. I know of.
I can always count on you to look on the bright side,
See,
Joe.
there you go. They wouldn't mind. All right. Thanks, Angie.
You. Got it.
Well, next week, the College of Cardinals is set to convene the conclave to elect a new pope. And while it may be a global body, U.S. Cardinals are quickly becoming among its most influential. More American Cardinals are taking on leading roles with bigger responsibilities, helping to shape a church that's grappling with modern challenges. NBC News correspondent Jay Gray sat down with two of them to talk about what they believe the church needs to do to prepare the way for the next generation of the faithful.
With the Catholic faith in a historic moment of transition, the American church will play a key role in the path forward.
American Cardinals are more influential in Rome today than they ever have been.
Italy is the only country with more active cardinals than the U.S., many like Chicago Cardinal Joseph Supich.
I go to Rome every month for a meeting.
With important leadership roles at the Vatican.
The Pope has asked me on a number of occasions to take responsibility for giving a report on something or another, or ways in which I can help him.
Input from Supich and other U.S. Cardinals helping to map out the future of the Catholic faith.
It is bringing areas of particular U.S. interest to the fore in Rome, but it's also issues that are pertinent throughout the entire globe.
Issues and the influence of Pope Francis centered on inclusion and diversity, pushing the American church to open its doors to groups that in the past, frankly, have not had much of a role in the Catholic faith.
We have to make sure that everyone feels welcome.
A big part of that focus, the growing immigrant population.
In general, we have been a nation which reaches out to those who are suffering, those who are immigrants, and those who are seeking new lives. And we need to recapture that, renew that, and within the Catholic community understand that that is a requirement of our faith.
Many parishioners also continue to push for a more open environment, welcoming LGBTQ participants in the Mass, along with those divorced or married to someone outside the Catholic faith.
We can't put up barriers or obstacles to people because maybe they missed the mark. They're still struggling with something in their life. but rather we're there to help them continue the journey of life in a way that makes them whole. And so that is the attitude, that is the approach that we need to take as we do ministry today.
Pope Francis has given women a much larger role in decision-making and governance in Rome, something that started to trickle down to U.S. parishes.
My own view is that women should be included in any ministry that's not doctrinally precluded, okay? And that's the vast majority of the life of the church.
A church that some still criticize as too slow to enact significant change, something American Cardinals realize they must continue to address.
The church will have no future if it doesn't have a present. So people have to center on what is the present moment and the challenge that we're called to today. If we do that, we will have a future.
A future framed in part by the input of American Cardinals as they help select the next leader of their faith. Jay Gray, NBC News.
Wow, how neat to hear from two of them.
Exactly. All right, much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, is Tesla switching gears? New this morning, the company chair responding to a report the board was looking to replace Elon Musk as CEO. We're going to bring you the latest.
Up first, though, nearly a dozen teens surrendering to police after a horrific hazing allegation involving a high school lacrosse team. What we know about what happened, that's after the break.
We're back now with an alleged incident that an upstate New York district attorney is calling hazing on steroids. It involves a high school lacrosse team. 11 teen suspects have now turned themselves in. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky has the details.
Multiple members of a high school lacrosse team in New York surrendering to police after prosecutors gave them 48 hours to turn themselves in, following what the DA described as a disturbing hazing incident.
This is criminal activity, and this is hazing on steroids, okay? This could have resulted in such a tragedy.
The DA says at least 5 victims from Syracuse's West Hill High School were targeted. Younger members of the team who were tricked into thinking the older team members were taking them out after a lacrosse game.
The driver of the vehicle purportedly was lost. That was a ruse. They were in a remote part of the county, and then the accomplices jumped out of the woods pretending to be kidnappers.
Authorities say others emerged from the woods dressed in black, one reportedly clutching a knife, another with a handgun.
The individual had a pillowcase placed over his head. He was tied up and placed in the trunk of a car.
The DA says 4 students were able to escape. The 5th victim eventually returned home by the perpetrators, adding none were physically harmed.
I've seen the videotape of what happened to this young man. It is not a rite of passage. It is not a trivial matter.
Our thanks to Morgan Chesky for that report. The DA's office told NBC News that because those teen suspects turned themselves in, they'll face misdemeanor charges, not felonies. The team's season has been canceled.
Well, there were dramatic moments in a courtroom outside Boston when a star witness took the stand in Karen Read's retrial for murder. The defense launched an intense cross-examination of the woman who made the 911 call after Read's boyfriend was found dead. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin has the details.
Week 2 of Karen Read's retrial for the death of her boyfriend, police officer John O'Keefe, ramping up today.
Another witness, another instance of perjury.
With tense exchanges between the defense and a key witness for the prosecution, Jennifer McCabe.
It's a crime to lie about that to those officers, correct?
Incorrect. I didn't lie to them.
McCabe, a close friend of O'Keefe, was there with Read when his body was found on a frigid, stormy January morning in 2022 outside the home of a fellow police officer. McCabe was the one that called 911.
911, what's your emergency? Someone to come immediately to 34 Union Road, Camden, Mass. What's going on? There's a guy unresponsive in Retrial.
Stoic today as prosecutors played that call to the courtroom.
Yes, I just pulled up and found it.
Prosecutors allege that night, outside of an after party with other police officers and McCabe, Read backed into O'Keefe with her car, leaving him to die in the snow. Central to today's testimony, an account of Karen Read's panicked response.
She told the first responder, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
But the defense is pushing back on those words, pointing in part to McCabe's grand jury testimony from April that same year.
You said that she said, could I have hit him did I hit him in the presence of the female EMT? That's what you testified to under oath at the grand jury, isn't it?
Yes, because she also said that.
The defense argues Reed is the victim of a far-reaching conspiracy and that O'Keefe was actually killed by another law enforcement officer at the party, pointing to a Google search by McCabe, which the defense claims took place hours before his body was found. Today, the prosecution and McCabe disputed that timing.
Was this the first time that morning after the defendant asked you to search that you searched that phrase?
Yes, it was.
Well, when the trial picks back up again, the defense is likely to dig deeper into exactly that, the Google search. Well, coming up, it could be a game changer for millions of people with liver disease.
A popular weight loss drug is showing promising results in a new trial. What doctors want you to know. That's next on Morning News Now. Welcome back. We've all heard about the revolutionary impact of drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic on weight loss, but scientists are now saying these medications may also offer hope to people suffering from a serious form of liver disease.
In a major clinical trial funded by the drug maker Novo Nordisk, semaglutide, that's the active ingredient in those drugs, successfully treated non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in about 2/3 of patients.
For more, let's bring in NBC News medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel. Dr. Patel, good to have you with us. First, let's just talk about this type of liver disease. What should we know? How many people are affected by this?
Yeah, Joe, Savannah. So as you mentioned, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, also what we now refer to as metabolic dysfunction associated steatohepatitis. That's a mouthful at this time in the morning, but otherwise known as MASH. That might just make it easier for reference going forward. So MASH is something that can affect as many as 1 in 3 Americans, and it really has to do with kind of the fatty composition of our bodies, kind of being stored in the liver and essentially causing a hepatitis-like picture, as well as fibrosis, scarring, and unfortunately can lead to fatal disease and cancer.
What did the study find? Like, how could this potentially change how doctors treat this?
Yeah, this was a very interesting study. It was double-blinded, placebo-controlled, randomized, all the things you would want in this study to make sure that the effect you're seeing is truly from the drug. And essentially what it found was that in patients who took what were pretty much the max doses of semaglutide, about 2.4 milligrams injected every week for 72 weeks, that's a long period of time, they saw a 63% reduction in resolution of their hepatitis, which is that kind of inflammatory part of the liver component. And then in further study, just looking at the patients in biopsies, they actually saw a reduction, over 32% reduction in fibrosis. Why are those numbers not just significant, but also important? Because the combination of the resolution and of the hepatitis and the scarring or the fibrosis essentially kind of speaks to possibly curing this disease. That is not something that the study said, but that's why I think these startling results jumped out. The New England Journal of Medicine published these results, and I think the impact to Americans and globally is pretty significant.
And this is just like adding to the growing list of things, all the research that shows GLP-1s can treat things, heart disease, sleep apnea. I think a lot of people then might be wondering, is it the drugs actually treating those conditions, or is it just that when you lose weight, those conditions tend to get better?
Yeah, it's a great point. By the way, they saw, not surprisingly, about a 10% kind of body weight loss on average for patients in this trial, specifically around this type of hepatitis. So I do think you're bringing up a very good point. I do think that if you actually look, though, across the participants in the trial, there were some that were on the lower end of kind of that body mass index spectrum. These were not people who had 10% of their body fat to lose, and they still saw some of those improvements in their liver disease. So the question I think that remains is, will this be an indication that will primarily be obesity, or will we start to see a shift in people using this primarily for these other conditions? I think you'll see both.
We know the Trump administration, Dr. Patel, had rejected this Biden-era proposal to expand Medicare and Medicaid coverage for these drugs. Also, the FDA, we just had a conversation about this, barred these compounding pharmacies from selling more affordable versions of the drugs last month. That was going on because there had been a shortage of them. Now that there's not, they're saying no more of that. So where are we at with access and cost?
Yeah, I do think that access is going to continue to be a persistent issue. You mentioned the Medicare-Medicaid decision from CMS. And I think that you're also seeing some progress. We've talked about it here with an oral pill from Eli Lilly that also had similar results to the injection. And then I've mentioned that there are a number, dozens of products that are like this in the pipeline from other manufacturers. That will hopefully lead to a decrease in cost, but it might take several years.
All right, Dr. Patel, important stuff. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Coming up, could it be trouble at Tesla? New this morning, the company chair is pushing back against a report that the board was looking to replace CEO Elon Musk. We're going to bring you the latest.
And rise and grind. More people voluntarily setting their alarms. Forget this. 4 a.m. We'll break down the trend that's spreading from the C-suites to your For You page. You're watching Morning News Now. We are back with a growing trend that's turning night owls into early birds across the U.S. It's called the Rise and Grind movement. Participants wake up around 4 a.m. and then they start their morning with some form of self-care and a workout.
It was once a hallmark of CEOs and high-level executives. Well, now the 4 a.m. wake-up call is becoming the cornerstone of peak productivity for a broader spectrum of folks, like this social media video here. In fact, a 2023 study revealed 27% of Americans said they woke up earlier to try and improve their daily lives.
For more on this, we have Wall Street Journal reporter Sam Shuby, who recently wrote an article on this trend. We've also got Dr. Carol Ash, who's a board-certified sleep specialist. Good morning to both of you. Sam, I'll start with you. Loved your report here. You spoke with several people that run the gamut, influencers, executives, working parents. What was the most surprising thing that you learned about the 4 a.m. wake-up trend? And, like, how real did it feel that these people are actually enjoying this and it's improving their life?
Thanks for having me, guys. It was surprising to me, certainly, because I don't get up at 4 in the morning. I think the thing that was really striking to me was that there's not one kind of person who's getting up at 4 in the morning. I thought maybe it would be social media folks or high-powered CEOs. And it turns out there are lots of people who have obstacles in their mornings, whether that's kids that they need to get to school or errands they have to run. And for one reason or another, they've found, you know what, my life's a lot easier if I just wake up really, really early.
There's the banana facial you're seeing.
Oh my gosh, and this ice thing. There's one where, like, you put oil in your belly button and, like, tape it up or something.
To be fair, this video has sustained a fair amount of mockery as well. All right, so Dr. Ash, from a health perspective, how effective is waking up at 4 a.m.? Is it actually good for people of all ages, all genders? What are the keys here?
Well, Joe, I think it's a great video. It's obviously engaging and a great marketing tool, and I love Sam's article. But you really have to know your type, right? So there's different circadian types. There's people that are morning larks and extreme morning larks, and there's actually people that are short sleepers. But if you're a night owl, this routine would actually be problematic. And we know there's 1 in 300 people that are an extreme early morning lark. But there are some key things that this video points out. You know, you want, as I'm suggesting, you want to have a compatible sleep and social schedule. You need at least 8 hours of sleep. So these individuals are going to bed at 8 and 9 p.m. at night, right? So they're missing out on all that networking at night and socializing at night. And, you know, if you keep a regular schedule and a consistent routine, it gives the brain cues that it's time to fall asleep and wake up. And when you do have a regular routine, it will improve your mental health and your performance, right? And, you know, unfortunately, our biology doesn't necessarily align with our work and social schedules. But if you're lucky enough to do that, it will make a difference. And, you know, getting up in the morning, setting that alarm clock, morning exercise, making time for breakfast, it's all part of a healthy routine. And that's what we want to focus on.
Sam, this obviously has taken off on social media, and some of the stuff that we're showing right now, like we mentioned, that dunking your face in ice and taping your mouth, and I'm like really confused, like I just said, by this one where you put oil in your belly button and tape it up, and I don't understand what the heck that could do. But you also talked to a lot of guys that are doing it. Like, did you see this being more of a male thing? I see some women on the screen right now, but did you see this being more of a male thing, and are you understanding that people are like actually doing this for a better day, a better life than just, getting clicks on social media?
Look, there's certainly people who are doing it because it makes for, really viral content. But I think all sorts of folks are doing it. I heard from plenty of people, male, female, old, young, who proudly wrote in to let me know after the story published that they too wake up at 4 in the morning. I was interested in it from a sort of men obsessing over productivity kind of perspective, but there are folks all across the spectrum who are getting up very, very early.
So, Dr. Ash, as we mentioned, some Americans wake up early. They want to improve their health and productivity. But at the same time, more than a third of people in the survey said they struggle to get enough quality sleep. Real quick, what can we do to sleep better?
Really, Joe, is getting back to basics, the healthy sleep habits, regardless of whether you are a night owl or a morning lark. You want to keep your bedroom quiet and cool. You want to turn off all electronics 30 minutes before sleep. That gives the brain time to unwind. You want to make sure that you don't eat large meals prior to bedtime. That can cause problems for you falling asleep. And you don't want to drink alcohol 3 hours before, and you want to stop drinking caffeinated beverages, for some people even in the early afternoon. And regular exercise is really incredibly important, and a healthy diet.
Carol Ash, Sam Shuby, fascinating conversation. I'm impressed by people who don't have to do it to be live on television getting up.
Thank you for getting up early.
Yeah.
Talk with us.
You guys are the experts. Thank you.
All right. Let's rise and grind our way over to what's making headlines on Wall Street. McDonald's now reporting a drastic dip in quarterly revenue.
CNBC's Silvana Hanau is here. She's a riser and a grinder.
I am. I'm a 2:30 a.m. riser, guys. So, yeah, it's early stuff.
You've got that and some other money news for us. Hey,
that's right, I do. All right, let's get you those money news. And yes, as you mentioned, McDonald's reporting its largest U.S. same-store sales decline since 2020. It was a 3.6 drop during the first quarter as the chain faced bad weather and a more cautious consumer, as President Donald Trump's broad tariffs has heightened pricing concerns for some consumers. Now, that drop is the worst in the fast food chain's home market since the 8.7% plunge during the second quarter of 2020. That was the onset of the COVID pandemic. And McDonald's has already said that it plans to lean into value meals and buzzy menu items like the return of its snack wraps to bring diners back to its restaurants this year. Tesla's chair is denying a Wall Street Journal report the board had launched a search to replace Elon Musk as CEO in response to plunging sales and backlash against his role in the Trump administration. In a post on X, Robin Denholm says Tesla's board is confident in Musk's ability to run the company. Tesla stock has lost more than 30% this year, wiping out more than $800 billion in value. And robots could become more of a part of our daily lives in the next few years. A recent report from Bank of America expects mass adoption of humanoid robots will begin as soon as 2028. That's pretty soon. BofA says ownership could reach an estimated 3 billion units worldwide by 2060. Now, there will be two phases. The first will focus on commercial use. The second will be for the home, with robots helping on tasks such as household chores, healthcare, manufacturing, and transport, guys.
All right, Silvana, thank you so much.
You got it.
Well, coming up, a Grand Slam great going pro again.
This time it's a different kind of court. We're going to show you how Andre Agassi's big pickleball debut went. Don't bounce. Morning News Now. I'll be right back.
Our tennis great Andre Agassi is again making a racket, this time on a different type of court. The Grand Slam champ made his professional pickleball debut yesterday. As NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch explains, fans were thrilled to see Agassi back in action.
Nearly 20 years after retiring, Andre Agassi was back on the baseline, finishing at the net to the roar of the crowd. We're not talking tennis. The 8-time Grand Slam champ is a rookie, chasing pickleball glory.
What's it like to see him playing here?
Oh, it was great. He was so good with the all the fans, and he was making jokes along the way, and he was super. He was really fun to watch.
Agassi's making his professional pickleball debut at the U.S. Open in Naples, Florida.
This is a joy. This is absolute joy.
His mixed doubles partner, world number one, Anna Leigh Waters. Now they're the new dynamic duo.
I think maybe we were both a little nervous in the beginning, but I'm just glad we were able to pull it out in the third.
From the late 1980s to the mid-2000s, Agassi wowed the tennis world with lots of flair. Agassi still energizing the crowd.
It was spectacular. The fans, everybody, it was amazing.
And for his fans, a chance to see a tennis great try to pickle his way to the top. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, Naples, Florida.
This means we'll be talking about Andre Agassi till he's in his 90s. He'll be playing pickleball.
True. I love pickleball. It looks fun.
All right, that's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning. Thanks for starting off your Thursday with us. I'm Savannah Sellers.
And I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, shake it off. President Trump playing the economic blame game. He's pinning yesterday's lukewarm GDP report on former President Biden, while admitting those sweeping tariffs on China could lead to shelf shortages and higher price tags. So could a first quarter contraction be a bellwether of things to come? We've got team coverage. Also this morning, a deadly 1-2 punch of severe storms soaking millions of Americans from Texas to New York. Driving winds and dangerous flash flooding prompting rescues and evacuations across the South. Mother Nature is not letting up quite yet. Our Angie Lastman is tracking it all for you in just a moment. Plus, playing defense, Bill Belichick speaking out after that now viral moment from a recent sit-down interview. His 24-year-old girlfriend trying to block questions about their relationship. Why the legendary NFL coach now says she was simply doing her job. And the kids aren't all right. Later in the hour, a sweeping new global study revealing younger adults just aren't as happy as older adults. We're going to dig into why exactly that is, and we'll get an expert's advice on how to feel a little more fulfilled. You could always use some advice like that.
Yeah, important conversation.
All right, let's begin this morning at the White House. President Trump is brushing off concerns about the economy following yesterday's disappointing GDP figures.
Yeah, the U.S. economy contracted by 0.3% in the first quarter, driven in large part by uncertainty over the trade tariffs. But Mr. Trump yesterday blamed his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, for the weak economic reading. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander has more.
Good morning to you. Since taking office and with turmoil over his tariffs, President Trump has conceded there could be a little disturbance in the economy, that this is a transition period in his words. And now he's going even further, conceding Americans could pay more for the things they want right now and have trouble finding some of them. Until now, the president and his advisors here have fiercely disputed that. But with new warning signs about economic growth slowing, the president is not backing away from his controversial tariff policies. For the first time, President Trump is acknowledging his triple-digit tariffs on China could cause shortages of consumer goods and higher prices, after business leaders have raised alarms about supplies of everything from groceries to toys.
Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know? And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
And overnight, the president calling into a town hall, saying that deals with other countries are in the works, but that the U.S. is in a prime position.
I'm in less of a hurry than you are. We are sitting on the catbird seat. They want us. We don't need them.
It comes amid new warnings about the U.S. economy that shrank in the first 3 months of this year, according to Commerce Department data. The president blaming his predecessor, who was in power for the first 20 days of the quarter, for the decline.
I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump.
But economists say the dip is due in large part to uncertainty surrounding tariffs and fears about shortages and prices going up. President Trump is also blaming Biden for the markets, well below where they were when he took office. More than a year ago, with the markets up, then candidate Trump took credit, boasting, "This is the Trump stock market." In that town hall last night, the president acknowledged the economic uncertainty may carry political risks.
Democrats may win the midterms. So there is risk here, big risk.
That's true. It is true. And I just think that I'll be able to convince people how good this is.
But asked what mistakes he's made in his first 100 days.
I don't really believe I've made
You
mistakes.
made any mistakes.
We're in a transition period.
The president also standing by Elon Musk in his cabinet meeting as each cabinet member praised the president. Musk telling reporters yesterday that he's winding down his time leading government cost cutting to tend to his companies, but sharing the extraordinary access he's had to the White House, saying the president has invited him to stay in the Lincoln bedroom after late travel.
No, they say I wear a lot of hats. Even my hat has a hat.
In that conversation with reporters, Musk acknowledged DOGE, the president's Department of Government Efficiency that he heads up right now, has not slashed as many federal jobs and as much spending as he hoped, but he did suggest it could stick around for the entire 4 years of this Trump term, twice as long as originally planned. Musk says some of the criticism to what he's doing has come from here within the administration, saying cuts can be made, but it requires, in his words, dealing with a lot of complaints. Back to you.
All right, Peter, thank you.
Let's continue our conversation with NBC News senior business correspondent Christine Romans. Good to have you with us. So the president we heard there blaming the Biden administration for this. I remember at the end of the year we spoke with you about how overall we had a sound economy, that prices were higher than folks wanted, but overall it was a strong economy. So what are experts saying about why things did decline in the first quarter?
Well, this is the first decline in economic activity since the pandemic. So that is a remarkable turning point for an economy that had been the strongest economy coming out of COVID of any country in the world. So that's the position that this administration started with. The president and his team trying to take credit for the good things in that GDP report and blame the bad things on Biden. But the bad things in that GDP report were a big front loading, a rush to buy stuff from overseas. And that was because of the president's tariff promises. So the reason why the economy tipped into contraction was specifically because of the new trade stance of the president. And now remember, that's even before April 1st, so-called liberation, or April 2nd, so-called Liberation Day. So it remains to be seen what happens in that second quarter number when we see that. So this is sort of what you just said, but do you think this is just a blip, or could this be the start of a trend here that is not a good one? It could bounce back. You know, it could have been just a temporary first quarter rush to get supplies ahead of higher tariffs, but that probably bled into the second quarter as well. There was good business investment, and the consumer was pretty sturdy in the first quarter. So that's a good sign that beginning on the president's really earth-shattering, global trade-changing worldview, that we started from a strong position, and now we have to see just how well the U.S. economy can absorb what are shocks from the president to the global economy.
So where does this leave consumers right now as they try and figure out how to manage your finances and everything else?
Consumers are pulling in their horns. They're becoming very cautious. They're favoring raising cash. You know, there are fewer people walking through open houses to buy a house. We had a rush of people going to buy cars. You might see car purchases start to decline a little bit. Again, for 6 weeks, people have been buying cars like crazy. So we'll see economic activity from that, and then it'll probably fall off a little bit. And you heard the president acknowledge yesterday that consumers are facing a new reality. Use this story of a kid who might not be able to have $30, but will have $2. I don't know any kid who actually has $30, but you know, maybe at his house they have $30, and that they will cost more. That's the first acknowledgement from the president that consumers will have shortages and face higher prices because of what he calls a transition period.
All right, Christine Romans, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, now to those powerful storms sweeping across the country. This morning, more than 40 million people from western New York down through Texas are under threat from the latest severe weather system that could bring more flash flooding, large hail, even tornadoes. For more, let's bring in NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson. She is in Dallas. She joins us with the latest. Hi, Priscilla. Good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. You can see the remnants of some of that flooding just behind me, as parts of Texas have seen 2 to 3 times the average April monthly rainfall this month, and it's not over just yet.
This morning, a new round of back-to-back storms, turning deadly, with a destructive 1-2 punch of torrential rain and flash floods. The severe weather impacting 43 million people from the south to the northeast. High waters in Texas and Oklahoma prompting evacuations and rescues. Officials say one man died after his vehicle was swept off a road outside Oklahoma City. More than 8 inches of rain has drenched the state so far. In Dallas, the severe weather also prompting widespread delays at both major airports.
They moved our flight to 8 p.m. So hopefully, you know, we can get on that. And if they cancel, maybe we'll just have to get on the road.
Flash flood warning affected area ahead. Please proceed with caution.
The pounding rain and flash flooding causing problems on the roads, too.
It's like driving through a car wash, coming down the freeway, literally.
Wind gusts topping 60 miles per hour near Danville, Arkansas, snapping this tree in half and sending it crashing into a daycare. In Pennsylvania, officials confirming at least 4 weather-related deaths after 2 people were electrocuted by live wires and 2 others killed by falling trees. Wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour, bringing down power lines, leaving hundreds of thousands across the state in the dark.
This is one of the top 3 events in my 40-year history, having worked in the utility business.
Officials say it could take up to a week to get the lights back on, with another round of potentially dangerous thunderstorms now on the way.
And May will pick up right where April left off with above average rainfall, which means that we could continue to see flooding across the South for the next several weeks. Joe?
Priscilla, thank you so much. Let's check in now with NBC meteorologist Angie Lassman.
She's keeping a close eye on all this severe weather for us. Hi, Angie. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning to you. Priscilla's exactly right. We kick off May with more of the same, essentially. The same kind of weather pattern going to take shape here for the rest of the work week and even into the weekend for some folks. Here's what we've got right now. Still a flood watch across parts of Oklahoma, including Oklahoma City. But we've got some of those showers and even thunderstorms still working across Mississippi and Louisiana. And essentially, more of those will fire up as the day goes on. So specifically parts of the South near the Gulf Coast and then stretching up across parts of the Appalachians and the Great Lakes. That's where we'll see kind of the unsettled weather. But we could have severe weather anywhere from essentially New York across portions to Texas as we get through the day today. And then tomorrow, again, more of the same. We're kind of stuck in this repeat pattern where we've got the heavy rain stretched across the South. We've got the chance for some stronger storms across the Midwest and out towards the Northeast. And then we roll into our Saturday with really kind of an unsettled forecast for folks across the East Coast. This is going to last into your Saturday plans, even the afternoon hours for some spots, and we'll see the potential for some flooding and some severe weather the next couple of days in a few locations. Here are the locations we're watching today. 31 million people at risk for these severe storms to develop this afternoon and into the evening hours, just like the past couple of days. If you live in Nashville, Lexington, Pittsburgh, Jackson, Alexandria, or Dallas, even as far west as Amarillo, you all have the chance to see some of those stronger storms develop. The hail and the wind are going to be the main threats today, but of course, a couple of tornadoes not out of the question. And we'll see even the potential for that focused across parts of Texas for tomorrow with, again, those same impacts or potential threats. On top of that, we've had just a whole lot of rain. Even the whole month of April, we've been running at a surplus when it comes to rainfall amounts across specifically parts of the South, but really stretching from Texas to Ohio. And today, we've got more rain on the way, more rain in the coming days, but we're watching for that flash flood concern. Notice the areas that include the risk areas that we have included here, stretching across parts of Pennsylvania into West Virginia. We've got Ohio included in there. And no surprise, specifically Oklahoma, Texas, and parts of Arkansas are under that slight risk. That's an area that has just had repeated rounds of heavy rain, not just the whole month of April, but specifically in the past couple of days. So no surprise if we see some flooding concerns across that region. We've got the potential to pick up a good couple more inches as we get through Saturday when it comes to Texas to Alabama specifically. I think widespread amounts will be closer to about a quarter of an inch or a half an inch across parts of the South. And temperature-wise, we're looking at some warm ones across the mid-Atlantic. We've got another great day for Philadelphia, upper 70s. If you're enjoying those summer-like temperatures in Charlotte, you've got another day of that as well. Montgomery into the upper 80s along with Fort Worth. 71 degrees for Kansas City. You're where you should be for this time of year, and a whole lot of other folks kind of end up in that same region as we get into tomorrow. Parts of the Midwest end up in the 60s, 70s. We've got 77 for Hot Springs, holding on to the 80s for the East Coast. We'll see those nice May temperatures lasting at least for parts of the Northeast for tomorrow, and then we kind of moderate out. So Pittsburgh, you end up into the 60s for this weekend. It'll be a little unsettled with some of that rain working through, so you can see why the temperature dips. But temperatures hold steady into the 70s across parts of the South.
Enjoy the outdoors.
Enjoy the outdoors while you can. Honestly, parts of the Northeast look a little unsettled even well into next week. So
yeah, actually the New York weather just, well, it's in that app you don't like, but it's just rain.
What app I don't like? Name it. No.
Go check her bio.
Exactly.
Thanks, Angie.
Testimony is set to resume on Friday in the retrial of Karen Reed. On the stand yesterday, the woman who called 911 after Reed's former boyfriend was found dead. She testified again, telling her side of the story. NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett has the latest.
Hey there, guys. In a case with a cast of characters, Jennifer McCabe is central here. She's a friend of the victim who found his body. She could have been the state's star witness, but her story is not without its challenges. Challenges the defense team hopes will show she simply isn't credible.
A critical witness, Jennifer McCabe, back on the stand, telling jurors her version of what happened after she discovered the body of her friend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, and called 911.
This guy, I'm responsive in no. I don't know if he's breathing. I think he's passed away.
O'Keefe's then-girlfriend Karen Reed now on trial again for second-degree murder, accused of hitting O'Keefe with her SUV after an argument, then leaving him to die, in a case that has become a true crime obsession.
Literally, this is my Super Bowl.
McCabe describing the harrowing moments she saw O'Keefe's body lying in a snowy yard just outside her sister's home after a night of drinking, relaying what she says Reed told first responders at the scene.
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
But on cross-examination, McCabe confronted with her grand jury testimony, where she said something different.
I can tell you with 100% accuracy, she screamed, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
You never said that to the grand jury.
I don't recall if I did.
Reed's defense team suggesting instead O'Keefe was killed after Reed dropped him off at the house filled with law enforcement officers, and McCabe is part of the crew conspiring to cover it up. In court, the defense trying to paint her relationship with police as cozy.
Your family is connected to people at Boston Police Department. We've just talked about that. Brian Albert, is that right?
Well, Brian was a Boston police officer.
McCabe has not been accused of any wrongdoing, but defense attorneys have tried to suggest she knows how O'Keefe really died. Pouncing on a Google search, they say she ran just before 2:30 a.m. on the morning in question, asking, "How's long to die in cold?" McCabe adamant the timestamp must be wrong, saying she only did the search at Reed's request when they discovered O'Keefe's body together hours later.
I did not tell Jen to make a Google search. I certainly didn't tell her to make the one at 227 either.
Jennifer McCabe is expected back on the witness stand when court resumes on Friday. Back to you.
All right, Laura, thank you.
Let's now bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos for more on this. Danny, good morning. Obviously, so much to unpack here in this particular testimony. We just showed there McCabe sort of being questioned about her recollection of events. This concept sort of emerging, at least from the defense here, that she is colluding with these other people that were at the house. Walk us through what we heard in court and what's maybe the most damning and the best thing in her case out of her testimony.
I thought Jen McCabe's testimony for the prosecution was much improved over the first trial. I thought she came off as credible, and the defense's points I didn't think really were that powerful. They had a hard time shaking her. Yes, she gave inconsistent testimony, but that happens. This was several years ago. She gave grand jury testimony, then she gave trial testimony, and here she is testifying again. Now, jurors either take that one of two ways. Maybe they require absolute precision from testimony to testimony, or they recognize, as we all do, that memories are fallible and you forget things over the years. Even if, as I sit here today, I am 100% certain I said a certain thing 3 years ago, I may find out that, oh, I don't remember it that way. And as I get older, that happens a whole lot more than I would like it to happen. So that is the reality. One of the things I know from using experts in eyewitness memory is that our memories are lousy. We think they're so great, and they really aren't so great, and they deteriorate pretty fast over time. We know Reed's attorneys are trying to suggest that McCabe knows how O'Keefe died 3 years ago, mentioning that Google search. How significant is that? Yeah, here's the problem. First, as to the conspiracy, one of the things that quietly I thought was very effective for the prosecution is she testified not only that this was a party, everyone was celebratory, but everyone at the party didn't exactly know each other all that well. It was cops, but it was also girlfriends and wives and nieces and nephews and all these different people. And that makes it really tough for me to imagine that at 2 in the morning, when everyone's blasted drunk, they came up with this conspiracy among people that are somewhat friends but not close family members to go find Karen Reed's plastic taillight and sprinkle pieces of it onto the crime scene well after a search has already been conducted. And none of that shakes loose in the 2 or 3 years since. Now, on to the search. Yes, if McCabe was searching for how long to die in the cold at 2 a.m., that would be really good for the defense, and the defense has seized on that. But the prosecution called
a competent expert who explained that when we open up browsers on our phone, sometimes the phone marks when we open the browser. And if we leave it open and 4 hours later we search something else, that later search is marked with stamped with a time that goes back to when that browser was open. I didn't know that. I learned something. The jury learned something.
You'll be using that, I bet.
I will be using that at my next trial, whether or not a Google search is even involved. But the point is that this is the kind of thing that is very sticky with the jury. And, the defense may call an expert to counter that. But in my view, they may have neutralized one of the defense's strongest points with that expert.
That's a really good point, because it's one of the things I think that's a real sticking point here. What can we expect? McCabe is supposed to be back on the stand tomorrow. Between her and other witnesses we think may be called, what's to come?
We're going to get into that Google search, and she's going to say, we already know, she's going to say, I did not search at 2 a.m. And the prosecution believes that they've called an expert to explain why that search was not conducted then. And then the defense will probably try to hammer inconsistencies. People view it different ways. The whole point of the distinction between I hit him, or did I hit him? I mean, to me, I don't see a huge distinction. I go back to memory. I know that memories are fallible. No matter what you absolutely believe you heard 3 years later, it may be slightly different. And to me, I don't think there's that huge of a difference. Yes, it is a significant difference, but I think the jury might just completely discount the I hit him statements and go to the technical evidence, and that's where the battle will really be fought. Just as an aside, back when all this scientific and technical evidence involving our cell phones and data and GPS, when that started emerging, I thought initially, that'll remove all reasonable doubt in cases. But what you find is that if you can get experts to say different things, it gets even more confusing than it was in an analog era when all we had was eyewitnesses with their human eyes.
Interesting.
Very. Danny Savalas, thank you so much. Well, there's much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now. A little later, legendary NFL coach Bill Belichick playing defense this morning after a contentious interview exchange involving his 24-year-old girlfriend. Why he's now saying she was just doing her job.
First, after the break, done deal. The U.S. inking a critical agreement with Ukraine over access to its vital reserves. So what does that mean for America, and how might it impact Ukraine's fight against Russia? We'll dig into it next. Welcome back. The U.S. has signed a minerals deal with Ukraine after months of tense negotiations with the war-torn country. Now, under the deal, Washington will be granted access to Ukraine's mineral reserves and create a fund that both sides will jointly manage.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the agreement showed both countries' commitment to, quote, lasting peace and prosperity in Ukraine.
NBC News Chief International Correspondent Keir Simmons joins us now with more on this. Keir, good morning. So just what more do we know about the deal? How could the U.S. benefit?
Well, we know what we're told by the U.S. and by the Ukrainians. And by the way, they say slightly different things, and some things are left out of one statement, not the other one. So it's sort of putting the pieces of the jigsaw together. But what it does do, clearly, is give the United States access to rare minerals and resources in Ukraine. It's an equal partnership, say the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians, interestingly, and there's many things to read between the lines here, they say that the agreement focuses on further, not past, U.S. military assistance. So the Ukrainians seem to be saying this deal locks in, to some extent, a U.S. commitment to support us in the conflict. So questions abound, like, for example, really how much of these rare minerals are there, how long will it take to get them. Lots of them are in the region of Ukraine that is currently held by the Russians, but it's a deal that, you'll remember, we weren't sure we were going to get after that bust up in the Oval Office.
Given what you just said about military aid, how do we see this deal impacting the Russia-Ukraine war? How significant?
I think I mentioned the bust up in the Oval Office. I think a significant moment was that meeting between President Zelensky and President Trump in the Vatican. I suspect, and the reporting can suggest this, what they said to each other was, let's do this deal, that will bring us together. What's happening in real time at the same time is that I think the Trump administration is beginning to form the view that the Russians are not moving quickly towards a ceasefire. I mean, they've been asking for a 30-day ceasefire. President Putin has not delivered that. He's called a 3-day ceasefire next week. I think this is a really significant shift in the Trump administration's policy towards the war in Ukraine.
This agreement, the Treasury Secretary signed
Right,
it.
right.
I guess that makes sense on some level, but some people might wonder why not, like the Secretary of State or someone else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's an economic deal, so okay, but I think it's a good question. And you read some of what Scott Bessent said in the intro there, but the broader quote from him is he says, this signals to the Russian government that the US is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. Now, we know that one of the things that has infuriated President Putin is the freedom for Ukraine to choose, for example, to join the European Union, to choose to join NATO. So by the Treasury Secretary, a little bit, you're right, kind of getting beyond his skis a little bit in terms of his particular file, by him signaling that, again, I think it's another indication that this is a shift in the way the Trump administration is viewing the Ukraine war.
Keir, we got some details last hour, but tell us more about this horrific news about a Ukrainian journalist who died in Russian captivity.
Yeah, I mean, the details are appalling, and frankly, it's too much to kind of talk about on a morning show, let's be honest. But effectively what they are saying is that she does appear to have been tortured by the Russians in captivity in an appalling way. And for the Ukrainians, she was captured going to Russian-held parts of Ukraine to try to report on the way Russian forces were behaving there. She lost her life for it, and the Ukrainians are inevitably saying this tells you everything you need to know about the Russians.
All right. Keir, thank you so much. Good to have you with us.
Yeah, great to have you on set. Well, we are following developing news this morning out of the Middle East as well. A new wave of Israeli strikes near Syria's capital.
NBC's Matt Bodner has that and some other world headlines. Matt, good morning.
Joe, Savannah, good morning. Syria's government has issued a strong condemnation of this strike. Israel says their target was an extremist group operating near the capital, which they say threatened a religious minority group. Syria's foreign ministry said in response that it has a, quote, unwavering commitment to protecting all the peoples of Syria. Syrian government forces launched an operation in the area late Tuesday after unspecified gangs attacked a government checkpoint. More developing news now out of South Korea, where acting President Han Duck-soo has just resigned, allowing him to run for the full job. The move comes just hours after the South Korean Supreme Court overturned an earlier ruling that cleared presidential frontrunner Lee Jae-myung to run in the nation's upcoming presidential elections. This ruling puts Lee's candidacy in doubt. The Supreme Court now says that Lee violated electoral law by publicly making, quote, false statements and sent the case back to an appeals court. The nation is already walking off months of political turmoil after former President Yoon shocked the nation with a declaration of martial law back in September. And we'll wrap up this hour in Argentina. It's May Day, also known as International Workers' Day. In the Argentine capital of Buenos Aires, labor unions gathered yesterday to protest against austerity policies imposed by President Javier Milei and also to pay tribute to Pope Francis. You may remember Milei from his appearance next to Elon Musk at CPAC back in February. That's when Musk had the chainsaw. That was actually a gift from Milei, who used a similar prop in his 2023 election campaign. In the face of yesterday's protests, Milei said his government is the best in Argentine history and also said inflation will be conquered by mid-2026. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it. Coming up, some shocking scenes at PNC Ballpark in Pittsburgh overnight.
We're going to bring you the latest on the condition of one fan caught on camera plunging more than 20 feet from the stands to the field in the middle of a Pirates home game. That is next. Stay with us.
We are back with a shocking incident that happened at PNC Park in Pittsburgh last night.
Officials say that a man plunged around 20 feet from the stands to the ground during the Pirates MLB home game. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock is here with the details on this one. Hi, Sam. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Look, he effectively fell from the second deck. And usually in a situation like this, you'll see a foul ball reaching for something. But no, he just sort of catapulted over the guardrail in this case. That fan right now listed in critical condition, according to Pittsburgh Public Safety. The situation is sobering enough that managers from both teams saw it from their respective dugouts hundreds of feet away and immediately came out onto the field. That fan receiving treatment for about 5 minutes after, as Savannah said, he fell from a 21-foot-high wall, or the Clemente Wall. And we want to warn you, the video you're about to see is disturbing.
On Wednesday night, scary moments at a Major League Baseball game after a man fell from the stands, stunning fans and viewers of the Pittsburgh Pirates-Chicago Cubs game.
To see that, it's upsetting. Super sad moment, super sad.
Officials say that fan taken to the hospital and is in critical condition after he landed on the field during the 7th inning, the game pausing as players looked on, horrified.
We've had one person fall out of the stands, 20-plus feet. We've got 3 medics working to assess and extract the patient.
Both teams and managers calling for help when the incident occurred, some players taking a knee and reflecting after the game.
That's scary stuff, and definitely we're praying for him, and we're praying that everything's okay.
The Pirates' Andrew McCutchen, who had just hit a go-ahead double, writing on X, "Truly hate what happened tonight. Let us think about his loved ones and hug our families a little tighter tonight. I hope he pulls through." And Pirates manager Derek Shelton thanking first responders.
Before we start, just want to, offer thoughts and prayers with the incident that happened earlier in the game, the fact of how it went down, and then, laying motionless. It's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
Tragic, really. After the game, Cubs shortstop Dansby Swanson said, "I have never been a part of something like that before, and I hope I'm never part of something like that again." Now, guys, for context, there have been a couple of deadly incidents in the last decade that have prompted a closer look at guardrails and safety. This morning, the Pirates also extending thoughts and prayers to that man and, of course, to his family.
As everyone is right now.
Yeah, wow.
Very,
Scary
very
video. Sam, thank you very much. Well, Bill Belichick is standing up for his girlfriend after she interrupted a recent interview with the legendary coach, saying she was only doing her job. NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung joins us with a look at this one. Hey, Kaylee, good morning.
Hey, Savannah. So from red carpets to social media, even a Super Bowl commercial, we have seen a whole new side of Bill Belichick since his exit from the NFL. And seemingly ever present in those moments is his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. The couple says they met on a commercial flight in 2021 and started dating 2 years later. But now that new interview is putting a spotlight on their relationship like never before and raising questions about the role she plays in his professional life.
This morning, legendary football coach Bill Belichick on defense about his relationship with his 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, after this now viral moment from Belichick's recent sit-down interview with CBS News to promote his new book.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
The 73-year-old reacting to criticism of his girlfriend's interjection, saying in a statement she was simply doing her job to ensure the interview stayed on track, though he did not elaborate on what her professional responsibilities are. Belichick alleging the interview was selectively edited to suggest a false narrative that Jordan was attempting to control the conversation, which is simply not true. That interview drawing more attention to Hudson's influence on the recently hired college coach.
Is anyone else starting to feel a little scared for Bill Belichick?
Some of his former Patriots players voicing their support for the couple.
She was jumping into that conversation during the interview, just like any PR person would jump in when there's an unnecessary question.
She's becoming his representative on top of being a girlfriend.
While other NFL insiders are questioning the behavior.
It's all odd, and it just does not seem like Bill Belichick's normal way of acting, in my opinion.
Belichick is one of the most prolific coaches in football history.
I can't stand it. Run it again. Huddle up and run it again, Brady.
Building a dynasty in New England, winning 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. But after 24 seasons, the Patriots and Belichick parted ways last year. And in December, he joined the college ranks, becoming the head coach at the University of North Carolina. Now, Hudson is a fixture by the coach's side, even during UNC practices. She is not employed by the university, but in his upcoming book, Belichick describes Hudson as his idea mill and creative muse. A former college cheerleader and pageant queen, Hudson is set to compete for the title of Miss Maine USA later this month. Belichick has been infamously private throughout his storied career, but after the couple started dating in 2023, Hudson's social media has offered a window into his private life.
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
So regarding that interview, CBS News said in a statement that there were no preconditions or limitations, and this was confirmed repeatedly with Belichick's book publisher before and after the interview. Now, Jordan did not return our request for comment, but on Instagram, she posted a screenshot of an email from Bill that he sent prior to that CBS interview expressing his frustrations about how he wants coverage of his book to focus on his professional life. So when Jordan posted that screenshot, Savannah, She also included the Taylor Swift song, Look What You Made Me Do, to play along with it. So make what you will of that.
There you go. Pretty interesting stuff here. Kaylee, thank you very much.
Let's bring in Nicole Auerbach to continue this conversation now. She's NBC Sports lead college football insider. Nicole, good to have you with us this morning. So, I mean, we know from his time with the New England Patriots, we're used to seeing Coach Belichick run a pretty tight ship with as little drama as possible. What are you hearing from people inside college football when it comes to all this?
Well, it's what you just said, right? Like, this is stunning for all coaches, of all coaches, that it's Bill Belichick that we're seeing this unfold. I mean, North Carolina took a swing and they went out and hired, one of the greatest coaches ever in the sport who had not coached in college, expecting that, we'd be talking about football, right? Or we'd be talking about how Bill Belichick's pedigree was leading people to North Carolina. And here, all of the offseason storylines have been about his girlfriend. And this has transcended just sports fans. I've had a number of people who do not follow college football asking me about this all week. And I think people around college football are just confused. They are seeing the same clips that we are, the same dynamics, the same Instagram posts, and they just think it's weird, right? It is unprecedented for someone who, again, is not on the payroll, is not an officially part of the North Carolina staff, to exert the kind of control that his girlfriend appears to be exerting over him, but also prompting a lot of questions about how much control is she exerting over the day-to-day operations of the UNC football program.
So to you, is there any sense that what's going on could be having an impact on his ability to recruit?
Well, that part, I think it's not, because we are seeing already North Carolina as a top 15 recruiting class for the class of 2026. And that was actually a question going in, was Bill Belichick, was he going to want to recruit? Was he going to want to go on the road? And so far, we have seen him do that. The NFL pedigree of him and everyone on his staff does seem to be attracting people to at least pick up the phone calls, but maybe take some visits and potentially come to North Carolina. So that part is happening. But I do wonder, especially in light of recent headlines and news over the last couple of weeks, if that changes. Because, again, I think you just have questions about who is running the show here at North Carolina that you don't have anywhere else if you're a recruit and you're trying to figure out, hey, where can I go to become a better football player?
Nicole, UNC was supposed to be the subject of a behind-the-scenes style documentary shot by NFL Films. That deal now appears to have fallen apart. What do we know?
Yeah, it got to the point where they were prepared to, like, here's the art and the photos and the dates and how it was going to work. And we don't know exactly why it fell apart, but we do know that Jordan Hudson was involved in the communication and was, again, trying to exert control over the project. And that's what's frustrating. I think when you look at this from the perspective of us, we're in the media, right? We understand how the media works. And so does Bill Belichick. I mean, he has never put out a statement complaining about an interview or a headline before. But Jordan Hudson seems to think that she can control these creative projects and these media projects about these teams. I think we would have loved to get an inside look into how Bill Belichick was running this college program, but it fell apart very quickly, and NFL Network and NFL Films had to be like, no, we're not doing this. There were issues with communication. It's not what we expected.
All right. Nicole, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up, the kids aren't all right.
Yeah, after the break, we're going to dig into a pretty eye-opening new global study. It's revealing older folks are reportedly a whole lot happier and feel more fulfilled than younger people. So why is that, and what can we do to try and upend the trend? The doctor is in next.
Welcome back. We often hear that your 20s are supposed to be the best years of your life, or at least some really good ones. But a massive new global study suggests otherwise.
Yeah, researchers surveyed more than 200,000 people across 20 countries. They found young adults that's ages 18 to 29 scored lower than older generations on nearly every measure of well-being. We're talking happiness, purpose, relationships, even physical and mental health. And here in the U.S., the gap between younger and older adults was among the widest.
Joining us now to help make sense of all this is Dr. Robbie Ludwig. She's a psychotherapist and author of the book, Your Best Age is Now, which I just love that concept. Good morning, doctor. Always great to have you with us. I mean, this just paints this surprisingly stark picture for people who are supposed to be, at a really good point in their lives. For some people, the prime of their lives. I'm certainly wondering if screens and phones and technology that everybody's growing up with has anything to do with this. But what do you think is behind this?
Yeah, there are actually multiple factors. So we do know that social media does not help our young kids. It is a place of social connection and comparison. It increases depression and anxiety. And there's this increased sense of loneliness. What we see is these young adults are not connecting with other friends in person. They're not having that experience. So they're more isolated. And on top of that, there is this economic pressure and almost an induced hopelessness about what they can create for themselves in their life. Can they make their dreams come true financially, own a home, be independent? So these are very weighty topics that they are dealing with right now. And the pressure is real.
Yeah, there's an irony there, all this social media, and yet we feel less connected. So let's talk more about isolation. A recent Harvard Political Review survey found just 17% of young adults say they feel deeply connected to a community. 18% say they don't feel a strong sense of belonging anywhere. Is this a new phenomenon? And talk about just how detrimental that feeling of disconnection is to your mental health, even your physical health, I know.
Yeah, so what we know is that our connections with friends and family is tremendously helpful in terms of helping us to feel better in life. It is a buffer for stressors, and it helps us to feel more loved. We are dependent human beings, and to think of ourselves as just independent and going it alone doesn't really work for our psyches. We need a community that embraces us. We also need a purpose and to feel that our life is meaningful. And sometimes we get that through our connections to special friends and family who can support us during challenging times and help us to reframe how we view ourselves and the world.
So really quickly, Dr. Ludwig, then how can we be the people who help these young people feel connected? What tips do you have?
It's a good reminder to tell them to be with other people in person. Rely on your friends and family. Spend time with others in nature. Express gratitude towards others. Volunteer. Be a part of an organization so you find meaning in life. Get involved in your community. You're not alone. Just take a step in that direction of connection, and you will be on a road to happiness and feeling better.
All right. Dr. Ludwig, great to see you. Good conversation. Thank you.
Good being here.
Let's get you the latest buzz in business news. Amazon spending some big money to upgrade its delivery network.
CNBC's Silvana Henao is with us again. Hi, Silvana.
Hey, Savannah. Hey, Joe. All right. Yeah. So Amazon plans to spend $4 billion by the end of next year to expand deliveries to small towns in rural America. Now, Amazon has been investing more in getting packages to shoppers' doors in one day or even just a few hours. It plans to add more than 200 delivery stations nationwide, tripling the size of its rural network. The aim is to cut the average delivery time in half. Mark Zuckerberg says Meta's new AI app could soon get a paid subscription similar to ones offered by OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft. On Meta's earnings call last night, Zuckerberg says there's an opportunity to offer a premium service for people who want more functionality. The new AI app lets you interact with the chatbot and generate images within the app. And Visa and MasterCard are rolling out AI shopping features. Visa unveiling what it calls intelligent commerce, which it says enables AI to find and buy. AI bots will be able to shop and make purchases on behalf of customers based on pre-selected preferences. MasterCard says it will give AI agents the ability to shop online for consumers, integrating payments into personalized recommendations.
All right, pretty cool. Thanks, Savannah.
Got it.
Most of us have left items in taxi cabs or Ubers over the years, but how does it complicate things when it's a self-driving vehicle? Well, one tennis coach in San Francisco actually watched a Waymo cab just drive off with his gear in the trunk, and months later, he is still searching. Here's Alyssa Gord from our Bay Area affiliate.
Semi-Western grip on a forehand.
Dan Lindley lives in San Francisco. He spends his days going between his work as a high school tennis coach and coaching tennis lessons.
I've been doing it 30 years. It's how I make my living.
Like many San Franciscans, he does not have a car. Lately, he's been riding Waymo's driverless taxis. One evening in February, he says his Waymo dropped him off, but the trunk filled with his expensive tennis equipment didn't open.
So I called customer service to see if someone could open the car remotely for me. A guy picked up the phone. He was very, very nice. And in the middle of him trying to open up the trunk, the car drove away.
Lindley says he's not only out the pricey gear, but he's losing money because he can't teach lessons without it.
There was a large duffel bag full of tennis balls. There was a portable hopper or a portable teaching cart.
Since then, he's been asking Waymo to get his stuff back or reimburse him, but he says neither has happened for 2 months. This week, he filed a small claims suit against Waymo, seeking $12,500 in damages. In a statement, Waymo told us, quote, Waymo is in touch with the individual and working to resolve the claim. Waymo's support team operates with the goal of reuniting riders and their forgotten items.
They're not forgotten. They were lost not of my accord. They were not lost by me. They were taken by the car.
Lindley is frustrated and perplexed about where his possessions might have gone.
I don't know what there is to investigate. Are you dusting for prints? Are you calling in the FBI? What is there to investigate? Find the stuff.
Where is the stuff? All right, our thanks to Alyssa Gord for that report. Coming up, another giant leap for womankind.
After the break, we'll take you to the final frontier with the all-female crew making history today up on the International Space Station. That's next on Morning News Now.
Welcome back. Finally this hour, the 5th ever all-female spacewalk is due to begin at the International Space Station. A spacewalk is when astronauts get outside of their vehicles well in space, tied only together by a tether.
Well, 2 NASA astronauts, Anne McClain and Nicole Ayers, will be setting out to relocate a space station communications antenna. They'll also install a mounting bracket for a set of new solar panels that will increase the station's total available power.
Former NASA astronaut and commander of the International Space Station, Terry Virts, joins us now. Terry, good to have you with us this morning. So this spacewalk, it's going to be about 6.5 hours long. Give us some more details about what it is they're going to be doing.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's an exciting day. There's 2 big tasks. There's an antenna that's getting blocked. If you go outside the space station, there's lots of stuff out there, so they need to move an antenna to so that it's not blocked, so that it can actually work. And the big one is they're going to install a bracket for a future solar array. The space station generates its electricity from solar, and those solar panels were first launched, some of them 25 years ago, some of them 20 years ago. So they're not quite as good. So they're going to install a big bracket. And then in a few months, they'll bring up the actual solar arrays. They'll attach it to the bracket, and then they roll out to cover up the existing solar panels.
I mean, and if all that didn't sound like enough, obviously, as Joe mentioned, they're just like tethered on with something that looks to be, I mean, obviously, I know it's very strong, but it's just this tiny little rope. The spacesuits they're wearing, they weigh nearly 400 pounds down here on Earth. I mean, how do you prep for this? What are the hours leading up to this like and the training like?
You go to the gym a lot. Like you said, this suit is bulky. We used to joke it's not designed for humans. It's a torture chamber. It's great. It's it's like a mini spaceship. It keeps you safe from the vacuum of space. It keeps air inside the suit. It has its own radio. It has its own little jetpacks you can fly around in. That you call it a rope. It's actually a really super thin metal cable that attaches you to the space station, and it reels out like a fishing line. So you need a lot of upper body strength. You move around in the suit with your arms and your hands. You grab on to move yourself around, and those gloves are pressurized. So imagine like the biggest spacesuit from Christmas Story where the kid couldn't move, times 10. So it's a physically demanding thing. And when I would do training runs in the pool here in Houston, every time I would get out, I would have big bruises on my chest from these metal rings. And the whole next day, I was just wiped out. It's a physical workout.
I understand you've actually been on 3 spacewalks, so there's the physical aspect of it. But what goes through your mind once you actually get outside the station? I have to imagine it's like the top of a roller coaster, but like times a million. I mean, what's it like?
It is. It's actually So there's a physical workout, but there's a mental workout because it's 6.5 hours planned, but it's a few hours before and after getting in and out of the suit. You're just completely mentally focused. So you're also mentally tired out after the spacewalk. But 99% of my time was spent focused on the task. I'd have all these pieces of equipment right in front of me. I was plugging in cables and doing these different tasks. And then every once in a while you could stop and pause. And I remember the first time I did this, I stopped and I just rotated out. And I was on the front of the space station and you could see the sun rising. It was like the most beautiful thing. You can't imagine it. I felt like I was seeing creation from God's point of view. And then I had to get back to work because I had some cables to plug in. So the view that they're going to have is 99%, stuff that they're working on. But hopefully they'll take a few moments just to look out and see the universe.
Before your first one, were you scared?
So a lot of my colleagues on my first flight, I was a pilot, and they didn't let the shuttle pilots do spacewalks because they didn't want the pilot to float away. Somebody had to land the shuttle. But on my second one, I did. So I talked to some of the experienced spacewalkers, and a lot of people, or some, apparently got vertigo. So the first thing I did, I went outside, and you take that tether and you attach it. And the first thing I did was I just let go, and I just looked down. It was still nighttime on Earth, but we were up in the sunlight. So the sun had already risen on the space station. And I was, wow, okay, I'm not dizzy, I'm all right. And then I went back to work. So I wasn't scared, but I was very aware of the magnitude of the situation.
We only have like 10 seconds here. Is there one most common misconception people have about a spacewalk?
Busy. You don't have time to look around. You are incredibly busy.
Huh.
All right.
Fascinating.
Terry Virts, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your perspective as we're about to see history made once again.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, that is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.